Something I've kind of summarized in my own head in terms of my leadership style is 3 L's: listen, lift, and love the player, because I think when you build a respect and a rapport by just sitting with the player and you address the human first and foremost, you automatically, I think, create a foundation and just that groundwork for building a trust and a respect that you care about them. One thing I think that, I try to do with players is create a foundational package for them of who they are at their best, and sitting with them and asking them, who are you at your best? Obviously scoring goals is great to see and fun to watch for anyone to see them performing at their best, but also the little things like being physical on a forecheck and being gritty and showing the emotion of the game and showing them like, hey, here you are scoring, but it started with you making a tough play and finishing a check and getting back up and making a tough play to your teammate. Like, those things are the recipe to your success where the puck goes in the net. And I think they feel a whole different level of emotion when you see that in them.
Did you bring anything to your coaching style or technique from both women's and also the international game where you were as well?
Yeah, the one thing obviously for my playing experience was we didn't have open ice body checking, right? So the puck possession game was critical, and holding on to pucks and kind of the grind of it. And I think, you look at some of the best teams, and even when we're at our best, we're getting pucks into the offensive zone with possession. We're putting pucks behind, but then we're winning possession back and we're holding on to pucks, and we're not just, making a quick play because, you're not shying away from the pressure of the check, but also like leaning into that and like spinning off of pressure, because there are times too where it's not a physical hit, it's just taking pressure and using that pressure to come out with speed.
There is a seminal image that has become part of your experience this year, and that's you with the whiteboard drawing up that final play. How do you prepare to be ready for that kind of a moment, and what is going through your mind?
I always have a plan pretty much in advance for every game of how we're going to run, our goalie pull 6-on-5 situations, and so giving them the clearest picture of how they can have success, but then also paint the picture where XYZ may happen, and this is how we are going to respond to ensure that right to the final buzzer we are sticking with it. It's been such a crazy ride for me just because there's been so many other factors and different energy coming from different people, and I think there's times where I'm so focused on my work that I catch myself post-game or little reactions or interactions with fans or friends where I'm brought to tears because I'm just almost caught in the I love what I'm doing. I have so much passion for this work.
How are you seeing different voices come into the league and being accepted right now, and what do you think is the future for that?
Well, I think when you have more voices, different voices, there's power in that. And for me, I think that's, what I've always tried to do and how I approach my work. Being, obviously one among many men, is just, I have experiences, I have different ways of seeing things, and I believe in that. I have passion for that, and so I want to share that, and I don't want to ever hold back because that may be different. I think different leads to change, different catches people by surprise in the sense that, oh wait, if we do things differently, what's the outcome? But when you see the outcomes positive or good, I think it gets people seeing things differently. And I don't think about the fact that I'm the only woman, but what I definitely acknowledge is that, I never dreamt of being in this situation because the visibility wasn't there. For me, especially as a young girl going through college and playing, I didn't know it was possible. But when I actually look at facts of matter, there's so many, remarkable women across our league. We're all doing it together just to show that, different is great and different leads to good and growth. And the more eyes and different eyes we have on this sport, I think the better.